Hello everyone, this is Oliver from Neo, and today we are going to talk about a special topic which I personally really like. We talk about that no tea should be wasted, and one thing Japanese farmers do to not waste a tea is actually to produce kukicha, shiraore, or so-called karigane teas. And these all are names for twig teas, and today I will take this one here to brew. That's the Shiraore Tamari Okucha from Mr. Fujisako, our farmer from Kumamoto at the southern part of the Japanese main island, close to the big city Fukuoka. It's around 1 hour away. And for this I will take a sample of this tea and I will just show it to you. So what is actually kukicha, karigano, shiraore? It is a stem tea. Stem teas are not kind of teas which are growing out of the stems. It's just that it is used the lower parts of the plant. So you have the top leaves, which are used, for example, for his Tamari Okucha Bisako, which is the golden tea he has. Or then as soon as you get lower, often the stems are used, and the stems, they are here in this tea present, and we have a good mix with this tea of around 40%, 35 to 40% stems and 60% leaves. So it's not a pure stem tea, but it is a tea which is made out of stems and leaves, so you can really see the good mix, like the more clearer parts, these are the stems, and the dark parts are the shaded leaves of this tea. And it is a very beautiful tea, what you can see. So I can show it to you also like this, that you can really see how this tea is a mix of stems and it is a mix of leaves. So we will try this one here, and what I can suggest to the people who really like stronger teas and highly mineralized teas, this tea is a perfect example, and this is something you might like. It has a stronger hay flavor than the normal sencha, which has more of the sweetness. Here we are a little bit more on a stronger hay note, and it is also a little bit slightly more acid due to the high amount of minerals in the stems. And the good thing about stem teas is that now, and it is night, I can drink it because it is very low in caffeine. Here we are about 1/5 of a normal sencha, so 20% of the caffeine concentration is in this tea. It depends on the mix. The more stems you have, the less caffeine you will have in your tea. So the leaves, they are the determination of caffeine in the tea. Here I take the black Kyushu, so black unglazed Kyushu, which I bought from Japan. This one here, as you can see, it is not glazed, and what it is good about the black Kyushu is that it absorbs a little bit more the acidity, a little bit this brothy taste, also with senchas or with gyokuros, and it really brings out a smoother and more sweet taste. That's why for this a little bit rougher tasting tea, I take a black Kyushu. It softens the tea a little bit, and that's why I decided tonight to have a smooth version of my shiraore and just drink it with 100 milliliter of water. Here I put in water and I heated it up to 60 degrees Celsius, and that's why this one here I use it only not too strongly heated, because I like when the smoothness is coming out of the tea, and this is mainly happening when I'm around 60 degrees Celsius. I have a simple tea glass here which I'm going to use. This tea is a very beautiful and easy to make tea. So here you even have the description of Mr. Fujisako at the back. You get all the organic certifications here, even for our small country Switzerland. You have it for Canada, for the US. So a broad spectrum of different acceptances of organic labels. So this tea is really organic, and here you can see So he suggests even to go up to 90 degrees with the temperature here, by temperature Celsius, and really just leave it in for 1 minute. But I go often slower, like deeper down on a lower level of degrees, just to have a little bit more smoothness in my cup. So let's try this one here. So what you can see is that is to a normal sencha which is often kind of a greenish, or especially the Fukamushicha, who has a more of a greenish color. Here we are more in a yellow color. It's a little bit cloudy, but not too much, so you can still see my finger behind it, but it's not a clear view through tea. So a little bit of a cloudiness we have in here, and a little bit more a yellow color due to the stems which are in the tea. Let's have a smell here. So clearly when I smell it directly, you have this hay flavor. There's a lot of minerals, but I also have a green flavor in my nose. It's much more like of a summer grass, later summer note, which I have in my nose here. It's not this typical young, fresh note, which I have normally when I smell Essentia, which is only from the first harvest leaf. Doesn't mean that this is from a later harvest, it's just that the stems, they really give a little bit this hay note in it, which makes it appear to be later in the summer when you smell the tea. I got sunflower, a little bit of a walking through a cornfield. These are a little bit the notes I smell. So let's go for the taste. And directly you have it. Like there's a little bit more of an acidity in the first second of this tea. Kind of seems that it comes as an astringency. I was really like feeling this acidity, and then I was like kind of, okay, now astringency should come. But then this tea goes in a creamy note, and then you have a hay flavor coming out, and also sweetness coming with this hay. The sweetness is certainly coming from the leaves, and then you have the hay flavor coming from the stems. So a little bit of an acidity due to the high minerals. The stem can carry all the minerals to the leaves, so they're loaded with minerals, and you have the leaves bringing in the sweetness. So also very different notes in this tea, and this is what I like about this tea here, that you really can discover also different taste notes which are given by the tea, coming from the mix of the leaves with the stem. Clearly a stem flavor. There's this hay flavor. I feel the acidity, so there's this mineralization of this tea is really dancing in my mouth. But I have a lot of sweetness, and this is what you saw before, the dark leaves. So you can also have Kukicha, which is mixed with a little bit brighter leaves. Here you can really see that this tea is shaded, and then some of the leaves are picked and some of the stems, and then you have a good mix of around 40% stems and 60% darkened leaves, so shaded leaves, giving it more and more sweet taste, followed by a hay flavor, then developing in your mouth. And you still have some caffeine, so if you're very sensitive to caffeine, you should go for a Kukicha or for a Karigano, which is very little, smaller amount of leaves. This one is, I think, is a good mix, around 40% of stems and 60% of leaves. And let us go in the second brewing. Let's have a second one. So I just wait for 20 seconds and then I pour it in again. And still you can see now in this brewing, it nearly seems to me, just put the lid on it, just to bring out all the water. It's easier to bring all the water out of the Kyushu with the lid on. Voila. So no water in, you can see. But beautiful, the tea. You can see now how the mix of the stems and here more the leaves on the right side and here the stems on the left side. So you can really see the beautiful mix. And both the stem and the leaves, they grew bigger by being in the water, soaking up the water in the tea. Going for the second round. I really like this creaminess of this tea. So there's a really creamy note. It seems that this tea has a little bit more of essential oils, so this a little bit buttery, creamy taste, known from kind of cashew nuts. When you eat cashew nuts, you have a little bit this sensation. This tea has this a lot. So I would say it really moves a little bit in the nutty spectrum, but still having this hay flavor and the acidity coming from the stems, or this mineralization. So a good one, and you can absolutely go for further steepings. I just love this tea. And it's really refreshing also. So I think in a good summer day, when it's hot outside, and then you have this a little bit more refreshing aroma. It's not this like grassy sweetness, so you kind of, when the sencha, you have more this grassy sweetness, and here the hay flavor and the minerals, they really bring in kind of a different fresh taste to the tea. Let's go for that number 3. So also here we still got a yellow flavor, a yellow color of the tea water. There you go. Number 3, still very good color. Let's see about the taste. Still a good taste. Creaminess is a little bit gone. But it gets also smoother, so it seems kind of the minerals have like been washed out now. I have much more sweetness now, smoothness with the tea, but less creaminess as well. I feel the hay flavor as well. So the hay flavor is still present, but much less of this mineralization, these minerals, this like a tingling minerals on the top of the tongue, they are gone. And much more smoothness, sweetness in this tea, but the taste got a little bit lighter. So already now in the third brewing, I can see that this tea is slowly moving a little bit away from its original taste. So we also already extracted most of the strong taste patterns of this tea. Now we are going into the smooth phase, and I think I could go up to 4, 5, and even 6 brewings, and this tea will still have taste, but it's going to be lighter and more smooth than before. So this was this. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great night. Bye.